They're trying out something new, the
Oh yeah.
automated ball strike challenge system, which is actually very intriguing because it's the Hawkeye system, which tennis has been using for many years. And the first time the Hawkeye system was ever used was in cricket on television in 1999. So cricket and baseball, they
Yeah,
have
there you go.
similar paths. So
Uh-huh.
with this spring training automated system now, how much better do you think that makes the game?
Well, it's new, and we're seeing it in a spring training, atmosphere. So it's a lot different. I feel like it'll keep, the integrity of the game there. I know like some older heads might be like, "Oh, it's now just ruining the game." Me personally, I feel like I don't hate it because like it
No.
gets the calls right. And I know it's
Right.
like some people again, it's kind of OD. Like you gotta like challenge a lot of pitches. It might make the game a little slower. I mean, not really. It's only like a second they put it up there
Right.
for. So it ain't
And the player can challenge it right away, which I think the interesting part of it
right.
is the managers in the dugout. They can't
They can't
challenge
do
at
it.
all.
Oh, right. And the thing I like about it, it's kind of like the regular challenge system. If you lose two of them, you get no more, and you can't do it in extra innings. So the extra innings one gets really intense because, like, oh man, close game, extra innings, scoring position, chance to tie or win the game, and a bad call by the blue. So it depends. And I know when I was watching one of the Cubs games, certain parks, I don't know if you knew this, my boy, certain parks don't have the technology.
Yeah. I was watching a spring training game today.
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was at. I think it was the Mets and Astros were playing. I think it's out in Arizona, or no, I think it was in West Palm. I could be
Okay.
wrong in the location, but I remember the play-by-play commentator said this is like one of the only parks without the ABS system.
Yeah, and I know the Cubs, ours doesn't either. I watched it and they didn't challenge a call, which I thought was close. So I mean, I think that was kind of interesting that our park doesn't have it. But I know some major league coaches, they don't want their players to use it. I know the Reds coach Reds manager, excuse me, Terry Francona doesn't
Yeah,
want
I
them.
saw that.
Yeah, because they don't want because to them it's not implemented this year, so they don't want them to get used to it by something they're not going to use. Or the minor leaguers, they do too. And Craig Counsell said the same thing on our broadcast on Marquee that they don't want our major leaguers to do it when they have the chance.
Well, that makes sense because you don't want the strategy to be, you don't want to spend so much time on that and then, it go to waste. But also, like, I mean, they have been testing it in the minor leagues for a couple years. So I think they're just trying to bring it up slowly because if the MLB just like said, hey, we're going to implement this right away, I mean, I don't know. You never know what you're going to get from that. I mean, it was kind of like it's not the same as the pitch clock, but it's like very similar in a way because the pitch clock. I mean, did they try the pitch clock in the minors before? Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, they did.
Okay, so
They tried
it's
it.
kind of the same.
They tried it through different. They tried it actually before lower leagues, before the minors. The pitch clock was one of the things they really tested out. They tried it through A ball, Arizona Fall League, and some of the Pacific leagues that they go through, and then they put it in the minors, and then just worked their way up. Low minors, middle of the pack minors, and then AAA, and then obviously it went to the majors. So I think again, MLB's in the right direction. And I feel like at first I was against the ABS with the automatic strike call because it's like, man, you're gonna challenge the pitches. Like, it's gonna take, it's gonna be a little annoying. But no, after last year, I mean, I was like, this system has to come because there are
Right.
some bad calls in the strike zone. Like it's really bad.
And I think we can go back to like 2 years ago, with in the Phillies and Braves series where we had a couple of Braves fans very upset about certain calls not being strikes or certain calls not being balls. And when you're in those situations, that's never going to be a problem anymore.
Right, exactly. And that's why I feel like this is gonna be a good step in the right direction for it. And I feel like when it comes to the MLB, when it does after it goes through the minors and certain spring training years, that it could be good for the game, and it might make the umpires better.
Well, the decision making I think is going to be the toughest part because it's not up to the managers. So like a player can just go, I want to challenge that like first inning. Like sometimes I feel like you may be like, maybe I can let that one slide. It's kind of early in the game.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I think is people are going to have to figure out.
I feel like with me though, one thing that I am worried about is like, let's say it's Game 7, World Series, and like It's bases loaded, 1-run game, bottom of the ninth, and there's a close pitch, and it goes against, let's say, the batter's way, and the batter wants to challenge it, or let's say it goes the pitcher's way, and the pitcher wants to challenge it, and it's a strike to be called on the ABS system. You know how weird that would be? And then someone wins the World Series on that? Like, that would, and that's just going to my head. Like, that would be kind of insane, don't you think?
Yeah, I also heard a manager say that they don't want the pitchers challenging it.
Really?
That they don't want to do it.
Okay.
So, like, I think it's tough. I mean, you got to have a good eye, too. I mean, you got to be able to, you have to know for a fact that that is a strike if you want to overturn it like that. Because let's be honest, like, no batter is going to challenge a ball. That's simply not going to happen.
Right.
But a pitcher will. But a batter will only challenge a strike.
Exactly.
The catcher is really the wild card if you think about it.
Well, the catchers have been the ones that are doing it. The pitchers don't really do it that much. The catchers, because they're right behind the plate, they can see the angle. So I've seen the catchers do it pretty more frequently, and then there's somebody get it wrong. I'm like, I know there was one who was really high above the zone. I'm like, why are you challenging that pitch? It's super high. It's way up. And again, they're gonna try to challenge the ones that nibble the corners. That's the ones I'm worried about. Like, you're trying to challenge the ones that are just outside, like on a 1-0 count. Like, come on, don't waste.
Yeah, wait till you get into the count. I think that's the appropriate. Yeah, I think that's
2 strikes or full. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm glad. I think it'll be implemented next season. I think what's interesting, actually, I heard after I think you go in the dugout and you like fill out like something on the iPad. It's like feedback about the system, like right away. That's actually pretty unique.
Yes, it is pretty cool. I like that. They're giving it a chance to develop and be honest about it. And honestly, how can it go wrong with a robot? I mean, I know technology has its faults, but like, it's there. The strike zone is there, and the ball is, and they zoom in on it. So it's pretty straightforward.
It's just like tennis. I mean, we've seen it done with tennis. So and tennis gets the calls right.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Right way paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my